Hey everyone, Kimber here from Moksha Yoga and Wellness. I want to do a short video on something I hear all the time, which is people with really good intentions trying really hard to be healthy saying, well, eat fruit for dessert instead of having a rich, super sugary dessert, to have just raw fruit for dessert. And these people are so well-intentioned and so totally off base. And don't get me wrong, I love fruit. This is my fruit basket. I did not buy any special fruit before I filmed this video. This is already all in my house, I promise. So don't get me wrong, fruit is great. But from the Ayurvedic perspective, we have to be really considerate of how foods combine in our digestive system, because digestion is the root of all health according to Ayurveda. So in a piece of fruit, what is fruit? It is mostly simple sugars. So the sugars break down really, really quickly. So what happens is if you eat fruit after a meal or with a big meal, if you're trying to do fruit as dessert, the simple sugar breaks down really quickly and then gets stuck behind that bigger, heavier food that you just digested. So essentially, this starts to ferment in your gut, and it can't move through the digestive tract quickly like it wants to because it's stuck behind that slower, heavier food. So when it starts to ferment, then you start feeling bloating, gas, indigestion. Your digestion is just in general not super happy. So that's why it's actually not great to try and eat fruit as a dessert. What Ayurveda would suggest instead is to eat a piece of fruit about 20 or 30 minutes before a main meal. So this works really well because Ayurveda also suggests that we should eat our 3 square meals a day without snacking. So you can eat a piece of fruit if you're ravenous as you start to prepare your lunch or your dinner, and then that fruit has enough time to digest, move through the stomach into the intestines before you have that bigger, heavier meal. If you're not quite ready to get to the point of no snacking, then having a piece of fruit as a snack is a really great idea too. It gives you a little bit of energy, digests quickly, doesn't sit heavily in the digestive system. So, if fruits are off the table for Ayurvedic desserts, what can we use for Ayurvedic desserts? There's still some really great ones. Don't think that sweet taste is off the table. In Ayurveda, there are actually 6 tastes, and it recommends eating all 6 tastes in every meal for true digestive health. So don't think that you need to exclude sweet and that sweet is bad and sweet is the enemy. I would refine that to say that processed sugars are the enemy, but sweet taste is still okay. So I pulled these recipes from some of my favorite Ayurvedic cookbooks that I've been reading recently. So I've got Kate O'Donnell here, her first book, The Everyday Ayurveda Cookbook, an absolute favorite of mine, and then her newer book, Everyday Ayurveda Cooking for a Calm, Clear Mind. And then Sahara Rose's book, Eat, Feel, Fresh. All these have really great balanced Ayurvedic dessert recipes. So the first one, I made this coconut rice pudding. That's like a traditional Indian kheer. So it has this really sweet taste from a mix of cardamom, ginger, and cinnamon. And then these are some date rolls. Dates, although they're kind of similar to a fruit, can make a really good, just super sweet dessert when you have that sweet tooth. These have a little bit of almond butter, some almonds, some coconut wrapped around them. So these date rolls are another recipe from Kate's book that's super great. This, I would say, is more of a pitta pacifying kind of summer type dessert because of the coolness of the coconut, the easily digestible rice. For more of a fall or vata pacifying dessert, we have Kate O'Donnell's apple crisp. So compared to a lot of traditional apple crisp, where there's just as much crisp as there is apple, and it's just all toppings and all sugar, this one is predominantly apples with a little bit of oats and almond flour. And if you're saying, wait, you just told us not to eat fruit for dessert, apples are kind of the one exception, especially if they're baked. So absolutely no raw apples for dessert, but if you bake them into a recipe, especially with good spices like cinnamon, then this can really assimilate well and digests much easier, especially in the fall time. The apples, the pectin in the apple skin is really good for getting clear elimination. And then last, this one is kind of an experiment. It was supposed to be a baked buckwheat with cardamom, and I didn't have the buckwheat groats, and I didn't want to run to the grocery store since we're in quarantine, but I had buckwheat flour. This has almost turned more into a cardamom buckwheat cake, just with a dollop of yogurt on top. But all of these, the sweet taste is still definitely satisfied using those sweet spices, ginger, cardamom, and cinnamon, but none of these are gonna have huge amounts of processed sugars that are just gonna spike your blood sugar and leave you craving more sickly, sweet things. So if you're interested in more about Ayurvedic food combining, there's a lot to learn, so let me know and I'm happy to make some more videos. Or if you have any questions, short little questions like this about Ayurveda at all, happy to answer those. And if you want to learn more about Ayurveda, right now we have a short mini training, Intro to Ayurveda and What is Your Dosha. So go to our website, mokshayogawellness.com, and grab that while it's still free. That's mokshayogawellness.com, MOKSHA yogawellness.com. Thanks so much and happy deserting!